but
I've
there
got 30
is
seconds. You said 10.
there's a delay.
You said 10.
Well, I don't want to be late.
Stephen Philip Sheridan. Am I on air? Is this thing on?
You will be soon, if not now.
Great.
You are, and I got to mute that. You will be
Your
soon,
box didn't have a vacuum in
now.
it. Yeah, Steve, I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, I hear it.
Into your mic.
I hear it. I'm taking care of it.
Well, the live stream is hearing the feedback, Steve. There's fast ways to mute that. Hello, everybody. Can you see us? Are you seeing us in StreamYard? And there's a good 10-second delay at least, so I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Oh, okay, works on podfeed.com. Hi, all in under the wire. Michael Westbay just makes it in time for, I don't know, Alan, is there anything we should be doing? What should we do? It's inexplicable. All right. Yeah, it's not going to look so good on the big screen, I'm afraid, Kevin. The resolution is lower than what we had. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Roll call. We've got Seamus and Kevin and Bill. Hi, Bill. Haven't seen you here in a while. And Bruce and Jason and Mike and Ed. How you doing, Ed? And we had drinks with Ed and dinner just this week. And Sandy and Michael Westbay and Alan. And anybody seen Rose sneak in? Not yet. How is everybody? So we're using Mimo Live, or we normally use Mimo Live. We've got a catastrophic failure since the latest update, and we're going to hopefully get that fixed. But we're using StreamYard. And as I was saying before we got the show started, I want you to think about which one looks better to you, which provides you more value, because this is far easier, but it's got some hinkiness. One of the things is it's only 720p. So that big screen TV that Kevin's looking at, I'm not sure that's going to look as good as it would. And it looks pretty good when it's scrunched down, but it gets kind of janky when it gets big. There's also not necessarily a clean way for Steve to switch between the views. So you'll see him right now. This is a view we said we weren't going to be showing very often, but mostly show the picture of us side by side. That's going to be the main view. And then when he wants to go off air, he's going to have to go through a 2-step process to get us to the second view. And you want to show that, Steve?
I think.
Right, except that's Discord, not well, and here's a question. Which would you rather watch beside me, Discord or Hindenburg? That's one of the questions. Yeah, it all has to do with what do you want to see big. Maybe when we're counting chapters, though, things like that, if you're checking to see if I did the chapter count, maybe you do want to show the big version of Hindenburg.
Yeah.
If Steve wants to go off air, can he just duck under the desk? Yes, it would be quicker. Yeah, as soon as he does that, he's gone from the live. Well, what's interesting is they can still hear you because they're in Discord.
Right, and that's the case when I mute myself in Mimo.
Right. I have to remember to mute you in Discord, which I didn't. Well, I guess I was doing that before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of interesting pieces to this, but it's far easier to set up. It's much more reliable. Whatever we don't like is consistently we don't like it. It's not like it's just, well, I don't know why that didn't work this week. So that's kind of okay. Yeah, we're getting agreement. It should be a big version during the chapter count. Sandy, I don't actually have a preference. I think the last time we did this, you're the one who said that you preferred Big Me, Little Hindenburg. But well, now Steve's doing him big and little Hindenburg. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, Steve, we wrote down the process. Shift 3, Shift 5. That's all you got. Do you have your little piece of paper? And it's nothing to, it doesn't matter to me which one you see, whether you see Discord or if anybody's just watching on YouTube and would only see Discord because they're watching on YouTube, then we need to be showing Discord.
Right. But I tend to default to Discord unless you're doing something, editing something, then I would go to Hindenburg.
Well, let's let Steve just flail around trying different things. I'll try not to notice this stuff flashing over on my right. In fact, I'm going to cover it up with another window because it doesn't provide any value for me to see what's going on because it'll just make me a little bit crazy. Yeah, I'll just do that.
Mash all the buttons. I've been doing that.
What's that? Mash all the
Mike
buttons?
wants to mash all the buttons.
Do you have the notes I wrote you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to need to let Tesla out soon.
Okay.
She's got a look on her face like she needs to get out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna mute you on Discord, and I'm gonna go.
Okay.
So make yourself scarce.
All right.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, October 30th, 2022, and this is show number 912. And I just noticed my first mistake. The show number is not in the show notes, but it is now. Right? Opening up Chit Chat. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Chit Chat. There we go. Back to here and grab this and put in a chapter mark. Is he switching to Hindenburg? He should be. No idea if he is or not. Link, and I didn't want that. All right. Okay, back here. Rose. All right. Hindenburg is showing. Okay. Or it should be Big Hindenburg because I'm putting, so see, if we were in Big Hindenburg, you should have told me that my paste of that didn't go in, but now it's in. All right. Here we go. This week, our guest on Chit Chat Across the Pond is Bart Busschots with a talk that's part security bits, part Chit Chat Across the Pond light. Bart has been asked to speak at a Mac users group on the subject of security, and he worked up a presentation on the subject. His goal in the presentation is to provide listeners with a better understanding of the types of threats that are out there and what the motivations of the threat actors are. There's a call to action in this talk by Bart. He wants to know if you think the information he presents will be valuable to a Mac user group. I mostly kept my opinions to myself because we want to hear from you. I gave him feedback on the side. The best way to provide feedback from this talk is to use our Podfeet Slack at podfeet.com/Slack, or you can tweet Bart at bbusschots if you can figure out how to spell it. Or you can make a comment on the blog post for this episode. In the show notes, there's a link to a slide deck presentation for Bart's talk over on SharePoint of all places. Hope you guys take a look. Not you guys. Gosh, it's so hard not to say guys. It is so hard. I don't like the word guys. I'm the one that yells at everybody else for it. Hope you'll take a listen and tell us what you think. Is everybody posting pictures of... Oh, no. It's just Al posting pictures of the shows. Okay. That one. Yeah. Okay. Now articles. So now, let's just see what happens if I push the button today. You never know. It could just start working. And that's this one. Nope, not today. Right? I think it is still easier to use the button, even if it doesn't work. I get the second one done. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about, let's see. Okay, I got to go look at now I do have to look at the screen. Whoops. Can you see? No, put me back on screen, please, Steve. Put me back. Yeah, there we go. So, okay, can I be full screen, Steve? There we go. This is what I'm going to be talking about. This little, it looks huge. Here it is next to my head. It's hard to get it at this angle, but it's a little Satechi charger. Here we go. All right. Now you can go back to normal, Steve. I'm not sure what the right protocol is to do that, to request that. All right. Here we go. Oh, or you could have just looked at the picture in Discord. Okay, here, that was a lot of work for something that you probably see a better view. All right. I bought my first USB-C Mac in 2015 when the MacBook Adorable first came out. That was 7 years ago, and I've been a huge advocate of USB-C ever since. I've gotten into flame wars on the topic as recently as this week from people clinging to the old and undeniably irritating USB-A connector. These people don't love USB-A either, but they do make the valid point that a lot of devices are still USB-A, so there is a need for ports on our devices. I'm going to start that over. There's no size reference. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Frank's here. Hi, Frank. All right. I bought my first USB-C Mac in 2015 when the MacBook Adorable first came out. That was 7 years ago. You realize that's how long Macs have had USB-C on them? Anyway, I've been a huge advocate of USB-C ever since that day. I've gotten into flame wars on the topic as recently as this week from people clinging to the old and undeniably irritating USB-A connector. Now, these people don't love USB-A either, but they make the valid point that a lot of devices are still USB-A when you buy them new today, so they think there is a need for those ports on our devices. My approach has been to only buy devices with USB-C whenever possible. If that option isn't available, I keep a pile of chiclet-sized USB-A to USB-C adapters in my desk drawer and in my travel bag. They're inexpensive and easy to carry, so I could easily dedicate them to each device whose manufacturer insisted on living in the past. At my desk, I have a CalDigit TS3 Plus dock that provides a plethora of ports for my computing needs. The back connectors are pretty much fully populated, and on the front, I keep the single USB-C and single USB-A ports open for the occasional need to transfer data or maybe charge a device. Now, that sounds ideal, but it's not. My 14-inch MacBook Pro wants a 97-watt power supply, but the TS3 Plus only provides 87 watts of power delivery. The front USB ports on the dock, under certain conditions, complain like Scotty saying, "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain." A few years ago, I purchased the HyperJuice 100-watt USB-C GaN charger. That's gallium nitride. That's the ones that are very small for the amount of power they have. Anyway, the HyperJuice 100-watt GaN charger cost $99. It's not all USB-C, though. It has two USB-A and two USB-C ports on the front, and it has a flip-out US wall power plug. I plugged it into a power strip next to my desk, and with a bit of a reach, I am able to plug in two USB-C devices and the occasional USB-A device, I should say. It's great for travel because I could charge my laptop with it and still have 3 ports open. Well, the 3 ports are open, but I can't really charge much there because my laptop eats up most of the juice. Instead, for travel, I continue to carry my much tinier dedicated 65-watt GaN charger from Eggtronic. I know it's counterintuitive that I use a 65-watt charger when I just finished saying that 100 watts was barely enough. If there's only 65 watts available, my laptop will still charge, but it just charges more slowly. Even with my 16-inch Intel MacBook Pro in the past, it easily charged overnight, which is all I need. Even at home, the HyperJuice GaN charger still wasn't ideal. Because of the flip-out power design, which is great on travel, it took up 3 spots on my power strip. And more importantly, it had those pesky old-fashioned USB-A connectors. I found I had to buy chiclet-sized USB-C to USB-A adapters to be able to charge my modern devices with it. Also, reaching way over the table to next to my desk to get to the messy power strip was accidentally giving me a stretch of my obliques, and no one wants accidental core strengthening. My new solution is much more elegant and meets my needs perfectly. It's the Satechi 165-watt USB-C 4-port power delivery GaN charger. It was recommended to me by friend and NosillaCast. Why did I stop on that? It was recommended to me by friend and NosillaCast Norbert Frassa. The charger costs $120, and this one is available for the US, EU, Australia, and the UK. The Satechi charger provides a massive amount of power at 165 watts, guaranteeing that I can charge my laptop and 3 other less power-hungry devices. I'll come back to some detail on how that works. The main reason I bought it is that all 4 of the ports are USB-C. Instead of a flip-out power port, it has a normal power cord out the back. Now, that's a trade-off you may not want to make, but with my setup, it freed up 2 power ports on my power strip because the other one, it took up all 3. The Satechi charger comes with a cute little stand so it can sit vertically on my desk and stay firmly in position as I plug and unplug devices. No more oblique exercises are required to add and remove cables. One of the delights of the Satechi charger is that you can mix and match the ports to different power requirements, and you do not have to read tiny little labels to see which one provides how much power. Instead, the power you can consume through it simply depends on how many devices you connect. Hey, Steve, I guess you have to come back on screen to answer my question. This is one oddity. Steve can't talk unless you can see him.
On YouTube or on, well, yeah.
On
Discord I can.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you can see where I am, are you keeping up? There should be a bulleted list.
Yeah.
It's not showing as bulleted. It does look bulleted.
Mine doesn't look bulleted either.
I checked that before I published. It should be. I'm going to make some changes to this. Where did it go? My bulleted list go. Geez, where did I just put that? I typed somewhere. 1 second. I can't read this correctly because it's not showing as a bullet. It should, it just showed that it was a list, not a bulleted list, at least before, but now it is a bulleted list. Let's see, there we go.
In the post or in your
I'm fixing
Mars
it locally.
Edit? Okay.
Yeah, in Mars Edit for right now. Okay. Okay, this is an important point. Save. I did. You know, Norbert's trying to get back at me because I recommended a bunch of stuff to him, so it's cost him a fortune to talk to me. He's trying to buy an internal combustion engine car for his next car, and I'm telling him he's not allowed to. We'll see. We'll see how that works. All right. Back to it. They explain in their literature that with the 4 ports, all you care about is how many devices you have connected, and that'll tell you how much power you can use. So if you only plug in one device, that one device can take up to 100 watts. If you connect 2 things, you get power delivery of 100 watts and 60 watts. That is a lot. You can also have 3 USB-C devices through power delivery, and you get 60, you can have, I should say, 60, 60, and 45, or 130 and 30. So you can mix and match. If you have low power devices, you could get 100 watts on one and 30 watts and 30 watts on the other 2. If you connect all 4, that's how you can get 165 watts total. That's 60 watts, 45 watts, 30 watts, and 30 watts. But again, you don't need to know this. You just plug the stuff in and it's going to give you that power. So with my 97 watt power hungry laptop, I won't be able to do 4 ports the way it describes, but I can still get 60 watts out of the other ports. Now, I bring up the fact that you can mix and match devices in different ports because you may be wondering why I didn't save myself $10 and buy the Anker 120 watt GAN 4-port USB-C charger at $110. Well, the Anker charger looks very similar to the Satechi in that it's a narrow square block with 4 USB-C ports, but it's more limited in how you can use it, and the maximum power is 120 watts versus 165 watts for the Satechi for $10 more. Now, it does have a cool little blue light on it. I will give it that, but you do get a blue light on the other one as well. Now, the main downside to the Anker charger is that you have to pay attention to which port you're using to charge. The Amazon page has a picture to explain all of the different port combinations. The first port supports 100 watts, the second 60 watts, while the third and fourth support only 20 watts. You need to be able to read the micro text on those ports if you're not sure which was considered is considered up. Oh, which was considered up. Let's see. Yes, sir.
When you're done fixing that, the title for the figure says Anker 4-port 100, not 120 watt GAN charger.
The figure.
You label your figures with little titles, little subtitles?
Yeah, it doesn't say 100 or 120. It says Anchor's charging is a function of how many devices you plug in and where.
I'm talking about the photo of the Anchor.
Oh, just the Anchor. Thank you. Now I see what you're saying. 120. Got it. Okay, thanks. So what was I trying to say? Watts. Well, the third and fourth support only 20 watts. What? Have I missed anything exciting here? Let's see. 20 watts. You do need to be able to read the microtext on those ports if you're not sure which way was considered up on this device. The next part of the graphic explains how much power you can draw if you use 2 ports at the same time. If you use the first 2 ports, they can each draw 60 watts. But if you use the first and third or first and fourth ports, you can draw 90 watts and 20 watts respectively. The graphic has 3 more combinations explained just for charging 2 devices at a time. The graphic then goes on to show the combinations for 3 devices and finally ends with 4-port charging where you get 50 watts, 30 watts, 20 watts, and 20 watts. There's just too much to know. I don't know about you, but my head is spinning. I would never be able to remember these combinations to know which way is the right way to plug in my devices. Maybe you could print out this little diagram and fold it up and tape it to the charger? Well, anyway, while the Satechi charger is only $10 more, I can plug in devices with utter abandon and not worry my pretty little head about it, and I get 45 watts more total power. The Satechi charger is pretty in a subtle dark gray. It sits in its little stand on my desk like a tiny server, and it does its job flawlessly. You can buy it directly from Satechi or on Amazon for $120.
All right.
Kevin, keep adding up how much gas costs every time you make that statement. Kevin just said in the chat that that the EVs are too expensive, but you gotta do the math on gas. Alrighty, where am I? Oh shoot! Oh, please tell me I saved that. Yes, I did. I think. No. I think I saved. Let's see. Anchor. I'll know if I got that anchor change. Send a blog. Okay. Changes being sent. And oh, I hope it stayed. Please tell me it stayed published. Sometimes it switches back to draft. Published. Good. Okay. Oh yeah. You got to take into account the stuff you don't, the maintenance you don't have to pay for. It's significant. Okay. Try this button that won't work, but we'll do this. And then over here while that's doing that, and select it and copy and double click and paste. Okay. So for my next trick, this is my favorite thing. So if $75 to $85 a month is what you pay, what do you pay for electricity? You got to do the math. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Yes, it's a hovercraft. Actually, you probably need one of these too, Ed. I think everybody needs one. I don't know what it is about a computer desk, but cats simply love them. Even cats that are normally standoffish will leap up on your desk and try to lie on your keyboard. Or is it lay? Lie? I always get those mixed up. Anyway, when they do that, they helpfully drape their tails across your trackpad, making your cursor go all over the place. Our cat Grace, named after computer programmer and Navy Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, who developed the first computer compiler, loves to sleep on my desk when I'm working. Her favorite desk accessory is my Stream Deck. Now, the Stream Deck is a triangular block of plastic with really sharp corners, and yet she considers it a perfect headrest. I like Grace a lot, and I enjoy her company. There are a few problems with this arrangement. As Grace decides on the exact position she wants to be in to make my Stream Deck unusable, she first feels the need to walk back and forth in front of my display. She covers up about the bottom 2/3 of the display while she's walking. So while she's doing that, I move my windows up really high so I can keep reading and see what I'm writing about while she makes her decision. She also often drags her tail across the top of my display. Now, my webcam is mounted magnetically to the top of the Pro Display XDR, so she can't disturb that. But I keep a rubber duck on top of my display as well. His name is Kevin. Every time Grace walks by, she knocks Kevin off the display. Now, I got Kevin, the duck, from Kevin, the man known as Big in Virginia in the chat room, and when he witnessed this problem during a live show, he decided to send me some museum putty to put on Kevin, the duck, to hold him in place so Grace can no longer knock him off. However, that means Kevin, the duck, not the man, can no longer assist me quite as well as easily with my programming. But there is one more problem with Grace keeping me company. She sheds like crazy. One of the curses of having had cataract surgery is that fine detail is now extremely obvious to me now. I can't stand seeing all of these little golden hairs all over my desk. Once a week, I take everything off my desk, I raise my display up high, and the entire surface is wiped down with a wet cloth, and all of those pesky Grace hairs are gone. Until 5 minutes after I sit down, when she comes right back up on my desk. Now, I've tried wiping them off with my hands. I've tried simply blowing on my desk, hoping they'll fly off the back. It seems these methods only remove about 80% of the cat hair, and so I'm doubly annoyed that I worked at it and I did a poor job. I have found a solution. And whether you've got a cat or not, you might like what I found. I found a tiny handheld USB rechargeable desk vacuum. Now, there's a lot of these on the market, but I chose the Prowlathin USB-C desk vacuum on Amazon for a grand sum of $16. The Prowlathin vacuum comes in white, pink, or the light turquoise that I chose. Like I said, there are other vacuums like this on Amazon, but this one had 4.5 stars, and with over 2,800 reviews, that sounded pretty good, and I could get it with same-day delivery. The Prowlathin vacuum looks like a tall, rounded computer mouse. It fits nicely in the palm of my hand, and it stands 2 inches tall with a rounded top. It has 2 little handy indents for your fingers, along with a power button that gives a very pleasing feel in your hand. If you flip it over, you'll see that it stands on a series of stiff, radially arranged brushes, and it has a hole in the middle. When you press the power button, you simply slide the vacuum over your desk, and every annoying little cat hair is immediately sucked up inside. I cannot fully express exactly how pleasing this is to use. I'm thinking of going and getting Grace to set her on my desk all the time just so I have more to vacuum up. Listen to this little vacuum. Okay, enough of the demo. To clean the vacuum, the bottom half unscrews from the top half. In the box was a little brush to flick out anything that doesn't naturally fall out when you open it. They also supply a little nozzle you can attach to the hole in the bottom, which could be handy for sucking Cheeto crumbs out of your keyboard. Might be a little more effective if it had a brush on the end of the nozzle to help break loose any crumbs. I tried putting my finger over the nozzle to feel the level of suction. I couldn't feel any suction at all. So I suspect that the holes the brushes make in the bottom might make this nozzle less effective than it could be. So don't count on the nozzle being super useful. The Prowlathin comes with a micro USB-A to USB. I'm sorry. No, I got to say this exactly right. The Prowlathin vacuum comes with a micro USB-A to, you guessed it, a USB. No, I did it backwards again. Prowlathin vacuum comes with a charger cable. It's micro USB. I don't love that. But worse yet, it's got a USB-A charger cable on the. Okay, don't ad-lib. Just read what it says. Prowlathin vacuum comes with a micro USB-A to, you guessed it. Good. Why am I not able to say micro USB? I keep adding an A at the end. The Prowlathin vacuum comes with a micro USB test number 42. The Prolothin vacuum comes with a micro USB to micro. Why can't I do this sentence? This is ridiculous. Prolothin comes with a micro USB to USB-A charger cable. Yes, USB-A, which can be conveniently plugged into the top half of the vacuum right under the prominent power button. The vacuum itself has a green light that lights up when the vacuum is on. When you plug in the included micro USB cable to charge, the power button turns red. When the device is fully charged, it glows blue. The instructions for the Prolothin USB vacuum say that there's a removable battery, but since it's rechargeable, I'm not really sure what kind of battery that would be, and you have to undo a bunch of screws. They also tell you to remove the dust-proof net that goes around the inside of the chamber and clean it with water and let it dry. But for the life of me, I can't see how I would get that netting out. Now, this might be the shortest review I've ever done, but I made up with it in the show notes for photos of my cat using the Stream Deck as a headrest and checking out the Prolothin USB vacuum. The bottom line is I am in love with this little vacuum. I've been keeping it to the right of my trackpad, and the instant I see a single cat hair on my desk, I reach over, press the button, skid over the hair, and clean it right up. It is so satisfying. Even if you don't have a cat named after a famous computer programmer who sleeps on your desk, the cat, not the programmer, maybe you find crumbs and other cruft on your desk that you think would be fun to clean up. I highly recommend the $16 Prolothin desktop USB vacuum.
Well, good you got that sentence out.
Well, yeah, Ed, that's what you need to do is you need to get a drive motor on this in some way and have it run around the desk. Right?
Ed would make it a smart vacuum somehow.
He would.
Have that thing going by itself. So Rose had the suggestion, maybe you should just run it over Gracie.
Yeah, I did try it on, she sleeps on the bed behind me and she leaves little cat hairs and she sleeps on the gray chair back here. But it turns out that the cat hairs get just jammed up in this. And it took me like 15 minutes to clean all the cat hairs out when I got a lot. So right now it's got like 7 in there, but she was on the desk earlier, but
she's on my desk now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Did you want to come get this?
I'll probably need it right after this session.
Floby, time to shave her. I suggested to my housekeeper that I shave her. I thought that would be a good idea. I don't think I found any typos with that one. I think it's time for a pledge break. All right. There are naked. Creepy, right? Thought of something. Nope. It doesn't even work when I do it. That's interesting. Actually, I just thought of something else. I can't show you anything over, like, you know how, Steve, sometimes I bring something over the screen? Put Hindenburg back. Sorry, right. You can't talk. I'm putting something over the screen right now. I guess you can talk. I'm putting something over the screen, but you can't see it because I shared a window.
Right.
So that's another limitation.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a cat. Wait a minute. That's a cat shaved to look like a lion? That's terrible. Our cat, Molly, has really stiff white hair. Bruce, Ed's son-in-law will like break out in like need to be hospitalized if you poke him with a cat whisker.
Yeah, I've never even heard of getting poked by a cat whisker, but I guess maybe their cats have stiff whiskers.
Ed's daughter chases him around with the whiskers to do it. Right?
I've never been chased with a cat.
Give Grace a ponytail. It's really going nuts in the. That's a good idea. It's a little hand vacuum to pull the hair together. Oh my gosh! Show Discord in the.
Yeah,
be sure to hover over it. Show it in the chat in the live video. So you got to hover over the GIF. Let's see if this will work. That's genius. I love it. I like the fact that they pulled the headband over it. I need to save that GIF.
That's got to be a dad thing.
Oh, I'm afraid I would have to say. Let's see. Yeah. Can I copy that link? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got it. I got to send that to the family. That's a good one. Okay, I should get back to the show. Get back to work. It's going to be a short show. So we have plenty of time to goof around. All right. I don't know if you noticed, but I gave you a week off from pledge break last week. You're welcome. I don't know if you noticed that there are no ads in any of the shows produced at the Podfeed Podcast Network. You're welcome for that as well. You might wonder how that can be done. How can she afford to do this show and yet have no ads? Well, it's because generous people who appreciate the fine content we produce here go to podfeed.com/Patreon and they choose to support the shows. Pick a weekly monthly number. It's that easy. I want to give many thanks to the fine folks who already pledged their support and to those in advance who will go push that button. Push it. Just push it. Easy. All right. Chapter mark. Yeah, let's see. You're allowed to be on air right now, Steve. Copy link.
Yeah, I guess I can.
For no reason. And go back over here and copy it again for no reason. All right. And then some security bits music. Oh, I want you guys to hear the beginning of this. For sure. I'm much less stressed out with StreamYard, Steve. I heard Steve through the door. You're allowed to be on air. I'm fooling around here.
There. How's that?
That's better. Yeah, there. Oh no. Kevin's for sure gonna say that's his favorite view. Wait for it.
Oh, do I see a plink? No, that plink is out in the middle of talking.
Oh, I always forget that'll happen. Push that. Okay. Let's see. No, this is the plink right here.
Oh, I do see a plink.
Plink. Let's. Oh, sorry. No.
Was that you?
Or the cough?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's just because these weren't lined up properly. He caught my cough.
He caught your cough.
Yeah. He heard. I was not recording, so I did not cough on the recording. But he was recording earlier.
But I do need to hear that blink again. It was interrupted.
I'm going to, but I'm trying to get things set up. Jeez.
Blink. There we go.
Well, it's that time. There we go. So we're having a little trouble with delay. It's not that bad. But there is something going on, and we talked about it a little bit after we recorded, but we are just talking over each other ever since he moved to the new office where he now has his new studio display in his Mac studio. We are just talking on each other like crazy. And it's not like we're arguing or anything. We're just having a normal conversation. It's just banging on top of each other. So go push that. I want you to hear the excitement here. Here we go. That button. Well, it's that time of the week again. It is time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots, and I am going to start this episode by congratulating Bart on his new job. Bart has been a system administrator at the University of Maine Youth for a long time and grown in his career, but it was time for him to reach for the stars and try to get a new job in security. And I'll let Bart tell you what the title is and what he's going to be doing as of Tuesday?
As of Tuesday morning, my email signature will say Bart Busschots, Maynooth University IT Services Cyber Security Specialist.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Actually, it's been a long time coming. I should fix this so it. Let me see if I can edit that so he just says it right.
Cyber Security.
Let's see. I think I can fix it where he says it correctly.
Bart Busschots, Maynooth University IT Services Cyber Security Specialist.
Woohoo! So I think we've got these lined up wrong. But now I've edited. That's right. Problematic. So now I have to unselect those two. At least that's all I've done. So I'm going to slide it over some. But you see that first thing is not, that is now out of alignment. But I think It's hard to tell. See how much we're talking over each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're talking over it's constant. So I think.
How does it end? How does the end look?
Oh, I think you meant like, what's the punchline of the show? But
yeah, just another question: is it cumulative or is it just a static?
No, it's like right at the beginning. So let's hear how this sounds. As of what, Tuesday?
As of Tuesday morning, my email signature will say Bart Bouchot's Maynooth University IT Services Cyber Security Specialist.
Woohoo! It's been a long time coming. He's been interviewing and then not getting it and then interviewing again and nobody getting it and all this nonsense. They put him through the grinder for it, but he luckily for them, they chose the right person, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. And also thank you very much for your help in preparing, because you were invaluable. Oh. Absolutely invaluable.
There's nothing I like more than critiquing. So
yes, but you do it well. You do it constructively. I like your critiques.
Oh, good. I do try to sprinkle this part was awesome in between my what the hell were you thinking here? You know, I can try.
You do something I think is absolutely amazing. You don't have producer syndrome. If something is right, you have no problem in saying, no, that's fine. No need to change anything. Whereas some people will think that's wrong. And they will insist on making you change something so they feel they've achieved something. And that's not helpful. Whereas you're just perfectly happy to say, no, that's it. You're done. That's ready.
It's good. I worked with a guy who would purposely put mistakes in his drawings as we did drafting for design, like on paper with pencils and such. And you had to send it to check. And so he would purposely put in 2 or 3 mistakes because the checker can't send it back and say it was perfect. So he would give them these glaring errors, off by a factor of 10 on a number or something, and then they'd feel all valuable and everything and not nitpick some little chamfer or something.
There was something similar with cartoons, Tom and Jerry and stuff like that. They would get in trouble for stuff that the very, very strict regulators would have trouble with during the Hays Code. And so they would intentionally put in really, really bad things so that the bad things they actually wanted would get through, because the censor would cut the really, really bad stuff and then the other stuff would get through. And there's 1 or 2 cartoons where the really bad stuff got through.
Really? Yeah. Oh, no. Where they didn't catch it.
They didn't catch it at all. So I think there's one where it's not naughty, but it's still... Anyway, yeah, it's just hilarious.
By today's standards, it would be prime time for children.
Absolutely. But it was just hilarious. Like,
I don't know what Hays Code is.
They missed it.
What is Hays Code?
Oh, Hays was some senator who had a big bee in his bonnet about regulating all of the movie industry and stuff. And so there was all of these rules that, like, gay character, they had to have their comeuppance before the end of the movie. There could never be a happy ending for a gay character. That was part of the Hays Code, because it was morality. The good guy had to win, the bad guy had to lose. Oh, it was horrific.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to congratulating Bart. I'm sure everybody here believes that Maynooth University made the right choice.
Can you pause for a second?
Excuse me. And I just couldn't. Yes.
So this tells you something. Bart, and this happens all the time, Bart knows more about our political system than we do, our American political system and
laws.
And laws, political system and laws, and our, how our government works than we do.
Yeah. I don't know how he knows all this stuff. He just knows stuff. I remember when we first met him in real life, and he picked us up at the airport, and I forget what he explained. He was explaining something about how Congress works to us.
Yeah.
And then he explained the Catholic Church to us.
That took a while.
The importance of the Catholic Church and the Protestants and how it all worked out in Ireland. It was fascinating. While I'm here, I'm going to get rid of that cough, I think. Believes that Maynooth University made the right choice. Excuse me. And I just couldn't be happier for you. I'm so excited. This is going to be great.
I am very excited as well. And I now get to say that I am a security professional, having
been an
amateur for quite some time.
Hanging up your amateur status and going pro finally.
So someone on the NosillaCast Slack suggested I need a nice hat.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway.
Well, why don't you talk to us about security, Bart?
Yes, indeedy. So follow up and feedback. I have done my best to ignore most of this story most of the time, but now that it has come to some sort of end, we should probably mention that Elon Musk now owns Twitter. I have no idea what that means for the world.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
You think, is there a security angle to this?
Well, it's almost certainly going to involve stuff being let onto the platform that wasn't before. I imagine there is going to be all sorts of angles, but I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I just don't know. The one thing that surprised me, John Gruber actually took the time to read the letter he sent to the advertisers. Remember, advertisers are the customers, not us users, right? And it was surprisingly sane and sensible. So take that as a datum. And wait,
I think Tom Merritt put it perfectly on Daily Tech News Show. I think it was Wednesday, so it was the deal closed on Friday, and they had all these stories about things that he'd said and things that they'd said and things that people thought was going to happen. And he said, "Okay, let me tell you what we know. Nothing."
We are done. Yeah. One theory is, maybe it's a Nixon come to China. Only Nixon can go to China because no one else will be taken seriously. Well, if he now does the right thing, he may be trusted with it because he's seen as being on the right side. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, you can dream. Well, okay.
Let's stick a pin in it.
Yeah. Hold, please.
Yeah. Clearview AI have made it back into my news feed for the first time in a while.
Clearview AI.
Yes. What did I say?
Colorview.
Oh, well, no, they're clear.
So what was Clearview again?
They are a company that sell a facial recognition service to hypothetically just to law enforcement, and they scraped Facebook and Twitter and all of these public platforms to try to build up a database of people. And there have been some quality issues with their results where members of Congress have tried it on themselves and found themselves to be classified as criminals. Little things like that. And
they're sure that's wrong. Okay, just checking.
Not convicted criminals. Sorry, yes. Social difference.
Okay.
They also scraped all the images of their permission. So there's a whole Computer Fraud and Abuse Act issue as well. But the French have a different issue with it because in French law, you have the right to your own image. It is considered yours, which is a big problem for street photography and stuff.
Yeah.
So what Clearview AI did is really, really troublesome in France. So they just got slapped with a 20 million euro fine and told not to do it again.
Interesting. Oh, how does that work with street photography? I mean, I'm pretty sure I have posted pictures of the Eiffel Tower that had French people in it.
Assuming they're not recognizable, it's okay. And the line between it's just a person in the background and it's a photo of that person is very blurry, and it's all a bit interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I took a picture of a waiter. I know that. Had him pose with us.
Well, if you
maybe
pose,
that's consent.
That's tacit consent. Yeah, you can make that argument. But it all gets very messy.
Wow.
It's one of those countries that it's difficult to be a street photographer in. But now we switch on to happy news. So, passkeys. You and I are both very keen to see them take.
Well, I should probably start working on finishing up the show, unless you guys just want to keep hanging out. I don't know. I've just got my tail end to go. Oh, Steve wanted to see the end to see whether it lines up. Yep, lines up perfectly. Except, look, there we are stomping on each other right again. There it is. Gotta love it. Exactly. All right, we can't possibly end with a better palate cleanser there.
Indeedy. So, folks, remember, as always, stay patched so you stay secure.
Yeah, Mike, that's you're saying that PayPal has passkey support. That is exactly the subject he was going to bring up. You do have to be on Ventura to use passkeys, though. I forgot about that. I played the Plink twice at the beginning, so the Plink is gone. I can just play you a Plink. Here, I'll just play your random Plink. I aim to please.
I shall Plinky the Plink Plinks.
That's a special one.
One of my favorites.
So, yeah, I guess Mike and iOS 16 as well, and Ventura, they kind of go together in terms of passkey operation.
Yeah. I'm itching to just upgrade. I sort of promised Jill that I would wait until November 9th because she's got to wait until November 9th because she's got a big presentation. She didn't want to bork up her machine before then. Well, you could probably do it on iOS 16, but if you did it on that, you wouldn't be able to use it on your Mac. So I could experiment with iOS 16, iPadOS 16, I suppose. That's a good point, Mike. That should work. Oh, so I know what I wanted to do right now. What do you guys think? The StreamYard view versus what you're used to seeing.
And just a reminder, here are all the views. Boom, 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 boom.
Wait, where's Discord? You didn't do Discord. Now you got to do all the permutations of Discord.
Oh, all the perms with Discord. Okay. Oh,
that's a different one.
And then there's just Discord.
How did you do that? And how come I can still hear you? Oh, I bet we couldn't. We couldn't hear each other. No. I had Discord muted.
Yeah, I'm still in. This is a view of just the screen being shared or window being shared.
So that's a case of where we're not on screen, but you can hear us.
Correct. You got it.
Let's see. Ed likes it. Sandy says, I'm happy with either, whichever is easier for you. And somebody seems to have upvoted that. Mike says StreamYard worked well. Bruce agreed with Sandy. Kevin wants it to be Steve on screen at all times. Allison
of course
muted.
He does.
I'm only on my iPad, so I don't have video tonight. Okay. Well, you can split screen.
Yeah.
And use what is it called? Stage Manager. I need to do a new
center stage manager. We're calling
center
it, right?
stage manager.
That way you get a couple features all rolled up into one.
And you're probably not wrong. Somewhere in there is the right answer, right?
Right.
So was there anybody who doesn't like StreamYard and wishes it was the old way where you could see GarageBand and Discord at the same time?
Well, not GarageBand, but Hindenburg.
Oh, yeah, GarageBand. Wow, that's a throwback. Where did I get that? Hindenburg and Discord at the same time. Does anybody miss that? Yeah, Mike heard it too. I'm drinking water. Yeah. I should go back to gin. Yeah. Kevin says StreamYard is fine. Doesn't sound like anybody dislikes it, Steve.
No.
Except for you.
Yeah, to me, it's not as clean. The transitions aren't as clean, and I can't quite show some of the things I'd like to show. But it's minor if people are getting out of it what they want.
Mike just said I was wondering if that was the problem with the macro that wasn't working because I was using GarageBand. That would do it. Okay, I'm going to write it in big letters. It's in my to-do list, but Mike, keyboard maestro. There, it's in big letters. Don't forget to do that. All right, let me finish off the very end of this, Steve. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeet.com anytime you like? Remember, we're still taking submissions for the I'm Still Using It. In fact, we've got a flame war being planned with two people doing I'm Still Using It of opposing technologies. That I sure hope that one actually happens. That sounds really fun. So if there's a piece of software, there's a piece of hardware, some kind of tech gadget that's just, you realize, man, I've been using that a long time. That's one that I should tell people about because it's still nifty. Please send it in, and you do that by emailing me with the subject, I'm still using it. I've got a bunch of them, and I'm really looking forward to that helping me out with Thanksgiving week, probably, and maybe into Thanksgiving if we get enough of them. And let's see, you can also follow me on Twitter @PodFeet. And if you want to join in the fun of the conversation, you absolutely should go to our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack. You can talk to me, you can talk to Bart, and all of the other lovely NosillaCast castaways. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeet.com/PayPal. Please consider going and doing that. It really helps keep the show on the road. And if you want to help join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways and get to watch the sausage get made as we change tools. It's all very exciting. It's been a lot of fun this week. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Have a wheel. Yeah, they're all over the map. They're a lot of them are things that maybe you can't still buy, but people are still getting value out of something. And I think those are really interesting. I've got software, I've got hardware. It's really pretty fun stuff. iPod Touch 7th generation. Oh, that's good, Al. It'd be interesting to hear what you're doing with it. I do have one about an iPod. Somebody's still using the iPod Nano, and that's that one's going to be fun. Let's see, and stay subscribed. iPhone 5S. Ooh, is that getting security updates, Mike? Oh, we need to do a chapter mark count. So let's see. Can GarageBand be full screen for a chapter count?
GarageBand.
Gosh, I did it again. Where's it coming from?
I don't know.
Maybe I should try using GarageBand.
Yeah.
No. Oh, I don't. That's terrible, Mike. iPad first generation. I'm still using my 65-year-old body. Nice, Bill. Can it be full screen so we can look at the chapter marks more better? All right. I see 5. How many do you have, Steve?
Yep. 4+ support the show. That makes sense.
All right. See, you can't easily do that random thing that I just asked for in the other one. Type styler.
Yes. Wait. I can make Hindenburg full screen easily on Mimo.
Can you? You have it as a layout?
It doesn't need to. I have the ability to select any of the sources as full screen.
Okay.
Individually.
Okay. I think Steve's the only one who likes Mimo Live. All right. I am going to publish the show, export the show. Oh, by the way, Jill is not here for a terrible reason. She had no internet problems. So she got a call from her ISP, I think it's Comcast. They said, oh, yeah, you're having internet problems. We're going to fix it for you. And they broke it.
Oh, no.
It was working before they fixed it. And now they're coming out tonight to try to fix it.
To really fix it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. She's not pleased. So that is why she's not here, is because they're supposedly actively fixing it right now. I don't know. Oh, the problem is I think it just goes out once an hour, which is neat.
That's handy.
All right. Well, I think we are, I think we're done.
We're done. Yeah.
I'm going to give Rose a kiss goodbye. And I don't know how you make the show go away, but I'm going to kiss Rose goodbye.
I just hit end broadcast.
Bye, Rose. All right. End broadcast, Steve.
Good night, Gracie.